Hey guys, Brandy here with Come Home, and if you've been watching my YouTube channel, you know that last month I showcased downtown Rogers. This month I'm shifting the focus a bit and we're going to be talking about health and fitness. Today I had the pleasure to speak to a couple of newcomers to Northwest Arkansas, Dr. Natalie and Lee Hornine. My name's Brandy and I'm with Come Home, and today I'm here with Dr. Lee and Natalie Hornine, and they're going to share with us a little bit about the practice that they're going to be opening soon. So first off, guys, just introduce yourself, maybe give me a little history on what brought you to Northwest Arkansas.
Sure.
So, I'm Dr. Lee Hornine.
And Dr. Natalie Hornine. So both of us are neurologically based chiropractors. We just relocated here in December, and we'll be opening up our chiropractic practice here in Rogers, Arkansas, off the Pleasant Grove exit. Actually right across or right in front of the Ashley Home Furniture Burlington Coat Factory Plaza right there.
Okay.
So it's a new building. It's getting built as we speak. We look to be open by end of July is when it'll be open, and we'll be
Fingers crossed.
Yes, as
Right.
everything's due to construction, since we have a lot of construction going on around here, right?
Yes.
So our business name is Ignite Chiropractic, and that really rides on so many levels for us. Ignite meaning jump starting, turning on, get going, because our passion is wanting to ignite health in order to ignite the lives of the community members and those around us.
So you guys moved in Northwest Arkansas when?
Just December.
End of December.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a few months here, and how do you like it so far?
We love it.
You love it?
We love it. I'll
It's
let
been
him talk a
phenomenal.
little bit more about it, but yes.
Yeah, so we had a practice in California for about 4 years and decided that we didn't want to raise a family out there, and we sold that practice. Literally sold everything we owned, and we didn't know where we were going to go, where we were going to land, where we would be. So we literally moved into our Subaru Outback and literally went on an adventure across the United States.
That's crazy.
And as we trekked
Yeah.
through, we basically stumbled across here in Northwest Arkansas and fell in love. And
Right.
one morning, Dr. Natalie woke up and looked at me and said, I could start a family here. But it has everything that we're looking for. As we've done a lot of traveling outside of just the 4 months before
Right.
we wound up landing here. And we wanted like metro area, but without living in the metro area for too long, because that gets tiresome. But all the
Right.
amenities that the metro areas provide is something we were looking for. And then we're also looking for rural countryside, but most rural cities are too small for
Right.
the things that we want. They don't have the amenities that we're looking for, so that would get kind of boring.
Gotcha.
And then we also wanted water nearby, so we kind of thought we were in the millennial dilemma of wanting everything and then
Yeah.
not being able
Yeah.
to have it all in one location. When we came out to Northwest Arkansas, literally every need that we had I remember writing in a journal one day, and I looked at it thinking all the things that I wanted out of a place, and I thought it was going to be an impossible find.
Oh, wow.
So I thought we were going to have to compromise
Yeah.
on something, and we don't feel like we're compromising on anything out here.
Well, great. Well, tell me a little bit about what, I'm going to say it wrong, neurochiropractic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Okay.
neurologically based chiropractors, so you've got it exactly. So we brought a little poster here so we can kind of talk about what it is that we do. So we focus on the nervous system, and
Right.
in fact that means your brain and your spinal cord, and that is the master communicator to the rest of the cells, the tissues, the muscles, and all the organs of the body.
Okay.
So usually when people think of chiropractors, they think head, neck, back pain, joint pain.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's a part of it. But what people don't realize is that those same nerves that go to all those joints, that go to all those muscles where you have your aches and pains, are coming from the spine, from the spinal cord, I should say, which an extension of the brain, obviously, an extension of the brain stem passes through this top bone known as the atlas right here. And this is a bone that we often see out of alignment as soon as babies come out of the womb. When people ask, well, how soon, when is it good to get adjustments? Like right away,
Right.
For infants, it's like as soon as the baby comes out, you want to make sure that there's no pressure.
At least getting checked.
Yeah, at least
Right.
getting checked to make sure that they don't have any neurological interference. And so they don't realize the long-standing effects that has from infancy, from that newborn baby, to their neurological development. When we look at milestones, we look at milestones much differently than a typical pediatrician would, unless they have neurological background as far as understanding every milestone is very significant for that child to go through. If it's skipped, if it's not there long enough, it's all part of that brain balancing act that happens. It's growing their brain, that cross-crawl mechanism. So if they skip that, or if they start walking too early, they're not getting that chance to balance out that brain activity.
Okay.
So that's just
that'll lead to like sensory processing type disorders and
Right.
things like that.
Sure. Makes
exactly. And that's just, we know that happens right away from, it doesn't have to be a birth trauma, it's just
Right.
no matter what, it's traumatic for mom and for baby. And like I said, most of the time we see issues right here at that uppermost bone right there, putting pressure on the nerve. And right there, that's where 78 trillion nerves pass through that top bone right there.
So that's where most of them pass through?
That's,
or?
well, all the nerves,
Yep.
and it as an extension from the brain, pass through there, turn into the spinal cord, and travel all the way down to your tailbone right here.
Okay. Got it.
And so all of these nerves that also give you the feeling, like the sharp shooting pain, the numbness, the tingling, the aches and the pains and dysfunctions that people suffer from on a regular basis, unfortunately, those also go to the organs. So like here in that uppermost area right there, where that 78 trillion nerves pass through alone, locally you can have issues like headaches. I see kids with ear infections, adults with ear infections. We see vertigo, blurry vision,
Right.
imbalance disorders, and what have you. A lot of autoimmune issues, especially whenever it starts affecting other areas in the neck. So when you think you're just having pain, aches and pains, on top of that, I can already assume, based on knowing where that neurological interference is, I can already have an assumption of what else is going on in the
Got it.
system.
Got it.
So
10% of the nerves transmit pain. 90% is all carrying information about function.
Got it.
So, you know, your heart's not going to give you pain necessarily until things are very, very severe. But so you can have a little bit of a pinched nerve that's going to your heart, which can cause things like high and low blood pressure, arrhythmias,
I got
things
it.
like that. So it can go to all the different organs in the body.
Okay.
exactly, and then
Okay.
so we see that. So we're looking for neurological interferences in different aspects of the spine, whether it's in the neck, the mid back, and low back. And what we're able to do is utilize state-of-the-art equipment so that way we can assess the integrity of your nervous system. How is it responding? And we don't do any poking or prodding or anything in order to do that, because we got our hands on this amazing piece of equipment that actually is NASA certified, and they utilize that pre and post flight to see what's happening to the nervous system when they go to the moon.
Okay.
So
great.
some amazing chiropractor got their hands on it, and so now we have our hands on that technology where we can detect where neurological interferences are. And the thing is, we don't fix those symptoms. We remove the interference in the nervous system, and the body heals.
So you talked about the equipment that you got your hands on. Tell me a little bit about more like how does that work? I mean, if somebody were to come in to a doctor's appointment and see you guys, like what would the process be beyond the, you know, okay, I'm here, check in and all that stuff. So what happens next?
Okay, you want to walk through that?
Yeah, so we basically walk through a detailed, comprehensive examination, a history, so figuring out what's going on, what different things people are paying attention to, maybe things they aren't paying attention to.
Okay.
So we gather all that information, and then we do the nerve assessment, so the neurological evaluation. And that's what Dr. Natalie was kind of mentioning. What we do is we do a scan that goes from the basically the base of the sacrum, or
From the bottom here all
Yeah.
the way up to the base of the
all
skull.
the way up to the base of the skull. And what that does is that gives us a reading of how what's called the autonomic nervous system is doing.
Okay.
And so now that basically tells us if there's any nerve interferences, which is where bones shift out of place and actually can pinch on those nerves that we were talking about. It'll show up in this assessment. And then if necessary, depending on the patient, we can also do, we have state-of-the-art x-ray in-house. And so we don't have to send out for that whatsoever. And so we can take a look at how the structure of the spine is actually doing. So how long has this been around? Is there going to be anything that's complicating like a typical normal recovery in a particular patient?
Okay.
So we do all of that. We would do all of that in-house, and that would kind of complete the initial assessment. And then what we do is part of that is also to come back the next day after we've had a chance to look over everything and study it. Then we go and do a report of findings and basically go over everything that we found from the previous day,
Okay.
and then go over teach basically health and healing from A to Z, how your body functions, so people walk away with like the least that they walk away with is a much deeper understanding of their body, their issues, where they might have issues or problems,
Right.
and then how their body goes about the healing process in a holistic way.
Okay.
Right.
And I like the word that you use, holistically, because I know when we met the other day, we were talking about just the preservatives in the food and how that can affect back pain.
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
and so it's so amazing to me. So I would say, like, people normally would go to a chiropractor, and so they've got neck pain or back pain, like you were talking
Right.
about. What do you see, like, when people are coming into your practice when you were in California? Is that right?
Yeah.
What's your typical patient look like when they're coming in? I mean, what do they normally come in to see you for? Are they coming in for neck pain?
Oftentimes, yeah.
Okay.
In fact, in California, we were disc specialists, so
Okay.
we saw a lot of people like oftentimes people come to us as a last resort.
Okay.
Because they're like, nothing else is working. I'm told I need to get surgery. What can you do?
Got it.
We have a lot of these kind of people walking into our office.
Sure.
Like, what can you do?
They've been in pain forever.
And
Nobody can diagnose it.
They've been to everywhere else,
Yeah.
and they're thinking, what's a chiropractor going to do?
Right.
for me?
Right. Now, I think that's amazing, and I wonder if there's an opportunity to educate the public to say, you don't have to go get your neck cracked or your surgery or all of this stuff. You can actually kind of what is it, not preventative measures, but
absolutely preventative, but also stop it in its tracks. So
yeah.
there are some people that are so far progressed because they've let their symptoms go for so long. By the time they come to us, the thing is the body can still heal. Now, are they going to get back to where they're at, like as a chipper chicken in their 20s or anything like that? No, we're going to be realistic. Right, exactly. We're going to be realistic, but the goal, like whenever, and that's an extreme case, like in extreme cases of sufferings like that, we can stop it in its tracks, and our goal is once we stop it, then we try to reverse it as much as we can. And then we're going to set realistic goals and then expectations as well, and also know that healing takes time and repetition.
Right.
And
but you mentioned prevention in a big
Absolutely,
way, like so with prevention, what we're actually, the ideal scenario is that everyone by the time they're born is being checked, and they're periodically being checked throughout their development and growth, because healthy children will grow up to be healthy adults.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, sick children tend to grow up to be sick adults. So if we can start this as early as possible, because if there's any interference with the nervous system, and that's being, say the nerves are being pinched,
out of alignment,
the communication from the brain to the body is being, there's signals are being mixed up. And so you're never going to be able to be optimally healthy if you have nerve interference. So what we want to do is we want to catch that as soon as possible for anybody, even if someone's in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s has never been checked. It's not too late, because what we can do is we can work to, like Dr. Natalie was saying, reverse that, at least stop it in its tracks, so we take some of that pressure off of the nerves, so that the brain is now able to communicate and the body can start to do what it was meant to do, which is heal and function properly.
I gotcha. So on the, you talked a little bit about, once you've done the assessment, then you kind of give them a recovery plan. What does that look like? I mean, we talked a little bit about food, that day, and besides, when I think of recovery and having a healthy body, my head immediately goes, okay, eat right, exercise, get enough sleep, and don't stress, which is,
easier said than done.
So what's great is that with us, so we focus on chiropractic. Now, are we going to give suggestions if you're open to it? Because we already know. People know they need to move right, they need to eat right, they need to think right. One thing we can guarantee is that by you coming and seeing us, we're going to make sure we get your nervous system functioning the best that it can, right? We'll talk about those other factors because they're absolutely important. But for some people, they're like, I can't even imagine I can't give up my cheese. I can't give up whatever it is, right? And so we get it. So we're like, the body still can heal when you have proper communication from those nerves, talking to those vital organs, and then
so our primary role and what we focus on to the exclusion of all else is the health of the nervous system. Because there's a lot of other people that are well qualified to counsel for nutrition and do all that, so we partner with different people to give you resources for that. We'll give you basics if people are curious about it, but we found in the past that when we try to be all things to all people and counsel, that it just kind of mixed up the message in a big way. So we focus strictly on making sure that the nervous system is clear of any interferences, and that's what we focus on, and we get excellent results because I think we're trying to just focus on one thing.
And then when that happens, you become more tuned into your body, and you know what feeling good actually feels like. There's so many people walking around and they're in like a zombie-like state. They don't realize that they have this fog over them at all times until we start taking that away, and their body starts regenerating and healing the way that it does naturally. And then they're like, oh, I have more energy now. Oh, look, I carry myself better. Oh, look, I realize I'm in this toxic environment. Oh, I realize I don't react well to these certain foods. Or I realize, the list goes on. So you just become more tuned in and aware to your body just by us doing that with chiropractic. You're functioning better, and then you start feeling better. But here's the thing, is a lot of people are like, okay, so where do you get these neurological interferences? That's probably what you're going to ask, right? So they come from big traumas and little traumas. Big traumas, like we already said, like from the birthing process already, but also those big accidents, slips, falls, whatever you have that we've all endured at some point throughout our lives. But it's also those daily repetitive activities that start to add up and take a toll on the body, like sitting in a chair all day long,
Sure.
riding in a car, lifting heavy boxes, and all that, in addition to whatever other traumas you've had, which we all know we've suffered when we were birthed, and then add up the stress of life, and then now you start getting these interferences where the body can only do so much on its own and compensate, as what we say. Just like if you were to sprain your ankle and you put a boot on it, your body's going to compensate by leaning to the opposite side and not putting pressure on that ankle that's sprained, right?
Right.
Your body does it on the inside on its own because it's so smart. However, it's really good at what it does often. So if it's often that we're freaking out because we're stressed, like driving and you're stressed in traffic, your body's going to be really good at being stressed.
Okay. So it's almost like a learned behavior.
Yes.
But just by a repetition.
Absolutely.
Right? And it seems
Exactly.
intuitive, but it's really learned.
It is.
Okay.
And it gets held in the part of the brain that deals with the stress response that
Okay.
it shoots cortisol, like, so you get all the flood of endorphins, like the
Right.
whole thing, but it's scaled
that fight
down.
or flight response
Okay.
is what that autonomic is. It's like, are you running from the tiger? You know, it's great to be in alarm and big pupils and everything whenever you're running from a tiger, but then it gives you no time to digest your food. You don't rest.
Okay. Yeah.
So because you're not going to run from a tiger and then just void. No, you're going to run from the tiger and all the blood's going to go to the muscles so you can get away from that tiger.
Sure.
And that's what's happening in our brains when we get stressed. We don't do any popping, twisting, or cracking with our adjustive techniques, and there's amazing chiropractic techniques out there. We have just found that this really works to the core level of how we want to talk to the nervous system. So what we utilize is the most advanced technique in chiropractic today, and it's actually an instrument that we utilize, and what it does is it pulses at the same frequency, meaning the frequency at which it pulses, which I say pulse, but it's very specific of where it needs to go on the body, and that's where our training comes into play.
Yeah, it delivers an adjustive thrust. It's
Yeah.
not a laser or anything like
not a
that.
laser.
Yeah, no
Not a
laser.
Yeah.
No, it's an instrument that does the adjustment, but the way in which it delivers that adjustment, it communicates to the nervous system at the same, it's like you tuned into the correct radio station. It does it to the same radio station that the nervous system listens to.
And it sounds like it's very it's systematic versus anytime a human does something, there's always room for human error.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So
Right.
So
this
it's
takes
exactly,
that
it's
out of it.
completely reproducible. So if I do it, she does it, it's going to be the same. And the only difference would be the line of drive, which we're trained on to basically figure out where is that bone misaligned. And so you can even be more specific than we can be with our hands,
Gotcha.
which, the chiropractors can be extremely exceptional with what they do with their hands.
Absolutely.
But this is to a whole nother level because
I
you can
see.
be very specific and you get on those tiny little bones. You can have a line of drive that is, you just can't really get with your hands.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's so gentle, and that's the big thing. So for anybody that has that fear, they're like, oh, I just don't think I could have my neck popped.
And you
and
hear it and you go,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which that's just
that's a big barrier for a lot of
Yeah.
people. A lot of
Yeah.
people, they're, I think I need it, but they're just too afraid of getting adjusted because of the popping, twisting, and cracking. They've had a bad experience.
Yeah.
The chiropractors injured them in the past.
right.
This
or they
kind of
think they injured them.
yeah, this gets phenomenal results, better than hands-on adjusting from what we've seen, and
Yeah.
it is great, and it's great for everybody.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
all ages. Well, thank you for asking. Right now, definitely can jump on Facebook. You can find us on Ignite Chiropractic PLLC. You'll see that on the Facebook group. We have our Facebook page, and you'll see that we do a lot of interviews with other people in the community. So
Right.
you see we're all over the place right now while we're waiting for our office to get built.
Yeah.
But we're also going to be throwing in videos having different topics that we talk about and how chiropractic can help with it as well.
Okay.
There we'll also be announcing as we get closer when we are doing our ribbon cuttings or any events that we're going to be attending, because we also do lunch and learns and health talks, like coming into your office space where we can talk about health, and then from there usually we'll have some offerings on how you can apply it to your life and to your family, and doing it at a pretty good rate before we open up and everything. And then we also do partial health assessments as
Okay.
well, where we just do it. When I talked about the technology that we utilize, we do it just on the neck, just to get people in, like, just understanding, like, oh my gosh, like, I feel like you just read my whole history. How do you know all this about me?
Yeah.
And that's just from just that little bit that we do right there before even
That's kinda
diving
creepy.
deeper. Yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's cool but creepy.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So we do a little bit of that as well. So yeah, definitely jump on Facebook.
Ignite Chiropractic NWA.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll have that linked from the Facebook page as well. And then as always, we'll have our email on there where people can email us if they want to as well. And that's all on the Facebook page too. We will do a complimentary benefits check because we want you to be able to use your benefits should you have them.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, we're enrolled in a federal discount program where we actually pay money into this program. We want to take care of families, and we know that money is a factor.
Mm-hmm.
Time is also a factor. So we're trying to eliminate those factors as much as possible, which is why we're willing to do that.
Very good. So any closing comments that you have for us to understand?
I'm just excited to, if anybody's interested in having us come talk at their workplace, or you want to learn a little bit more, if you have any, like, maybe even topics on videos you'd like us to talk about, we'd be willing to do that as well. But reach out to us. So we're open to sharing, and we can't wait to serve this community. We're excited.
I think it's great to be able to share this kind of information with everybody in the community. One last question.
Sure.
You said to reach out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Best way for them to reach out to you is how?
Email is a good way to contact us. It's ignitechiropracticNWA at gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you coming in, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Would love to see your feedback and your comments, and please reach out to them if you have any questions.